chase, and no matter what, I'm living. Put that on everything. I got a dream to chase, and no matter what, I'm living.
Kamau. I love that we all could make it for this meeting. So allow me to call this meeting to order. So the meeting has officially begun. So I'll invite Soteri and Fred Angwenye to lead us in the Rotary Grace. Fred. Fred, are you with us? Just a minute, I see him. He's not. Fred?
Sorry, good evening. All Lord and give of all good. We thank thee for all our daily food. May Rotary friends and Rotary ways help us serve thee all our days.
Thank you so much, Fred. So I'd like now to propose a toast. So if you have a glass, charge it. If you don't, hand over hat. And I propose a toast to the President of the Republic of Kenya, to the President.
The President.
The President.
Thank you. Now I'd like to invite Rotarian Kuria to lead us in the four-way test. Keshi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's recite it together. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you so much, Rotarian Keshi. This juncture, I'd like to recognize some guests that we have here. I see Noreen is back with us. Noreen is no longer per se a guest. Thank you so much, Noreen, for coming through. I'd like to recognize the presence of Pesh. How are you? Greet us and tell us what you do.
Hi, Wilson. Thank you. There's Kamau, Kanina Kamau.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a business lady.
Thank you so much for coming again. I think I've seen you again once or twice before.
Yeah, thank you.
I see Modoni Muturi. Modoni, are you with us? Thanks. You can see Eva Namal. Eva.
Thank you, President. The name is Namala Kawalia, Rotary Kampala Metropolitan, and happy to be here with you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kampala Metro. Who else is here? Bryce Kitio. Okay, cool. I hope I've not forgotten anyone. I saw Caroline Mumbi. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for joining us. We love guests at Madaraka. I will hope you will stay over and you'll come back and visit us again. Join us for these meetings. Right now, I'll move on to announcements, and I would like to start with the Rotarian Muto. Victor Muto, please lead us in today's announcements.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. My first announcement of this evening is to remind each one of us about our upcoming event on 28th of August. That's the installation of President Wilson. Charges are 2,500 per person. The venue is Brazilian Rodizio. That's in Lavington off Mbaazi Avenue. I hope to see everyone, each one of you at the event. Then my second announcement is regarding to the project that was announced last Monday by Rotarian Lydia. We urge for your support towards that project. It's a project to buy equipment to support cerebral palsy, to buy equipment for cerebral palsy children in Nairobi. I can't remember the exact location, but
In Mathare.
In Mathare, yes. Thank you for that. So yes, so please do channel your support to our club accounts. I think at the end of the meeting, President Wilson will share the account details for you to channel the funds. I would also probably request that probably we could for today's meeting we channel our happy dollars and towards that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Rotarian Muto. I will now like to invite also Rotarian Kuria to give us our announcement, our treasurer.
Good evening, friends and family of Rotary. The announcement goes to the members. Just a reminder of our membership obligations. We only have a few days remaining for the deadline to pay our RIDs. So kindly, let's make payments. I'll share the pay bill in the official group in a few minutes. Thank you.
Sorry, can you hear me? I don't. Sorry, apologies for that. There is I've had just a power blackout. So can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Sorry, I had a power blackout. My power is off, but I think we'll just continue. So I'd like to invite Rotarian Njoki Mange to do the speaker introduction for today. Njoki, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, President Wilson. Mambo ya stima, achia watu wa stima. So our speaker for the day is called Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria, not the MP, is a managing director of CarePay Kenya. CarePay Kenya believes that the intersection of mobile technology and mobile money has the potential to transform healthcare by facilitating universal access to good quality healthcare at lower costs. Through its mobile platform, MTIBA, the company connects patients, healthcare providers, and payers, that is insurance companies and governments. Previously, Moses was CarePay's Financial and Operations Director, where he led the expansion of the Kenyan team from 38 to 97 people, a team which is now running services and payments for over 4 million people and over 3,000 healthcare facilities registered on MTIBA in Kenya. Moses has previously worked with Deloitte East Africa and General Motors East Africa. So members, guests, and friends, kindly welcome Moses Kuria. Karibu, over to you, Moses.
Thank you very much, Njoki. Good evening. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, okay. Very faintly.
Oh, very faintly. Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. This technology sometimes it brings issues. But so thank you very much, Wilson, President Wilson, for inviting me. I'm delighted to be here. It's great to be in this meeting with all of you. So good evening, everyone. Thanks for the lovely introduction as well. And I must say I'm not planning to run for president. So let that be clear on the record. My name is Moses Kuria, as has been said. I am the managing director of CarePay Kenya. CarePay is the health technology company behind the MTIBA platform. The MTIBA platform is a digital health financing and payments platform. We believe in using the power of technology to transform healthcare by ensuring that everybody is able to access affordable quality healthcare. And we believe particularly in the use of leveraging mobile technology to drive that. In this country, we have been privileged to see how M-Pesa, one of the greatest innovations of our country, has done in transforming people's livelihoods. And we intend to follow on that path of using mobile technology to transform healthcare. So today I'm going to talk a bit about the healthcare ecosystem in Kenya and the role of technology in driving towards health inclusion. When we think about the healthcare ecosystem in Kenya, there are serious problems today. We talk about over 1 million people are pushed into poverty due to catastrophic healthcare spending every year, and this has now more so accelerated with what we have seen with COVID. When we talk about why is it that a lot of people pay out-of-pocket costs, we see that the health insurance is very low, the very low penetration level. In fact, if you think about the private insurance, it's currently hovering at around 2 to 3%. And the NHIF, which is the public social insurance vehicle, is currently covering about 17%. So that leaves more than 80% of people without any health coverage. That for families, when someone gets sick and they need to be hospitalized, it's a real issue. It's a real crisis. And what often happens is that families have to sell they have to sell their means of earning livelihood. So people have to sell their land if they have, people have to sell their cows, or people have to talk to their go fundraise in the communities. And I know for some of us here have probably been involved in Harambee here and there. And in some cases, in unfortunate scenarios, we also see that at least close to 30% of Kenyans don't seek healthcare when they need it because they can't afford. And what then happens is that most of them then have serious challenges and serious issues that in some cases result to death and in some cases result to illnesses worsening. And so when we then ask ourselves, why is it that healthcare is so costly in our country? Why is it that the insurance penetration levels are so low? Why is it that all these things happen? And this is where when we started MTIBA, this is one of our great missions, to see that how technology can be used to address these challenges of lack of access in terms of very high costs and lack of insurance penetration. And today, when we talk about technology, I want to at least highlight 3 key problems that we see in the market. As I've said, the first thing is cost. Getting into a hospital today is very costly. Even if you are well off and you have health coverage, if you end up at one of the high-end hospitals for a couple of weeks, it will be very expensive. The majority of Kenyans are not even able to afford the facility next door. So we're going to talk about how can technology address the issues of cost and why is there this cost. The second issue that we are going to talk about is the issue of lack of insurance penetration. Why is the insurance penetration so low? Why is it so hard for people to access health insurance, both private and even public? And then the third thing we're going to talk about is why is it difficult for this ecosystem to actually thrive and grow? And when you talk about the ecosystem, we're talking about the hospitals, the payers who are the insurance companies, and the users. And one of the biggest issues when we started, we realized is the lack of trust. People don't believe when today someone comes to sell me insurance, people don't believe that whatever I pay for today, when I go to the hospital is what I will access. There is always the element of fine print. When we talk to the hospitals are struggling with getting paid by insurers on time. And as a result, what often happens is because they lack the liquidity and they struggle with payment cycles, they increase the cost. When we talk to the insurers, they struggle with high levels of fraud, and therefore they have to scrutinize everything. There is high inefficiency and fragmentation in how they get information. And so this creates a perfect recipe where opaqueness and lack of transparency drives lack of trust. And since there is no trust, everybody operates on a defensive footing. And as a result, that increases cost. And at the end of the day, it's the patients that suffer in not getting the right quality of care and not being able to access health services. It's the end users who suffer because insurance becomes very expensive. So when you think about how is technology today being leveraged to deal with these challenges in healthcare, and I will talk about what we have seen, particularly in view of COVID. As we have seen in the last 1 year with COVID, COVID has accelerated or made things to be possible that a lot of us and a lot of people who are in the industry thought that it would take years to actually transform digitally. And when you think about healthcare, when you think about what we see now, we see rise of digital platforms that create trust, that develop digital online products where consumers can actually get health insurance at the tip of their fingers. They can go online, they can buy health packages, they can make these decisions, they can run, and this is connected to payment. And that makes it very easy for people to actually buy health insurance and health packages. And what we have seen technology enabling to do is the rise of digital health marketplaces that enable people to even compare prices, that enable people to compare packages, that enable people to get to buy health insurance and buy hospital packages. And this is key because when you think about what catalyzed the growth of financial inclusion in this country, M-Pesa played a very big role. That people then banks rode on the mobile money and the trust that was created to ensure that a lot more people are brought into the banking space, and a lot more people, and as a result, some of the banks built digital lending businesses on this. And this is a key thing that we see insurance companies and others rising to do this. The second key aspect that we have seen technology doing is to drive scale. Before COVID, it was very difficult to see telemedicine services that had actually reached scale, because for you to think about offering and delivering healthcare services, you had to think of brick and mortar. How many hospitals can you build? How many hospitals can you scale? When we think about what has happened in the last 2 to 3 years, we have seen a huge explosion of telehealth services being offered. We have seen a lot of players coming in where you can, from the comfort of your home, if you're unwell, you can dial in, you can call, you can get a teleconsult, you can buy prescriptions online, and you can even get health information online. And this shows that technology can enable the scaling of delivery of healthcare services much faster and to a much wider population than had been envisioned before. When we think of Africa particularly, just thinking of this e-health space, we've seen that in 2020 alone, over about 120 active startups came into being as a result of the opportunities that are here, some ranging in, as I say, telemedicine and other areas. And just in year 2020 alone, e-health, or in this particular space, they raised capital of about $90 million. That is more than half of what had been raised in the last 5 to 10 years combined. And that shows that we have the opportunity to actually use and drive technology to drive how healthcare is delivered, how healthcare is financed. The other key element that we have seen and where technology is coming into play is the use of health data to improve, whether we're talking about improving decision support for clinical decision support, whether we're talking about diagnosis, whether we're talking about building artificial intelligence algorithms that help to prevent fraud. The power of this trend and what will happen is as more and more interactions become digitized, there is more and more data points being collected. And the more this information is being collected, the faster and the better the decision making becomes, and the more the healthcare practitioners are supported to make decisions much faster. We've seen, particularly in radiology, in lab, and in other areas where already as we speak, AI algorithms are helping clinicians make decisions much faster than they have been before. And what this will do is ultimately, it will lower the cost of care. And once it lowers the cost of care, then a lot more people are going to come under health coverage. The other area where we have seen is the collaboration or creating these ecosystems of trust. And this is where MTIBA plays a role. We have also seen creation of these digital health ecosystems of trust where, for instance, last year, countries got together and they have now created a platform where countries or players in Africa can actually buy drugs by bulking their procurement. This is something that would not have been possible before because this is something that we have seen in other industries, but in healthcare, it had not taken off. So in general, when we talk about the role of technology in healthcare in driving health inclusion, it's about reducing cost. How do we reduce the cost of care? How do we stretch that extra shilling so that whatever is coming in, whether it's from government, whether it's from NHIF, whether it's from the insurers, whatever is there, that shilling can go that extra mile and ensure that what we are spending in healthcare gives us the quality that we are seeking. And this will happen by how technology enables to drive that scale, and drive that scale by ensuring that every incremental step leads to a less marginal cost or leads to a lower cost. The second key element, as I've said, is really this element of empowering the consumers, empowering the end users, putting the patient at the center and being customer-centric. Because as you know, in healthcare is one of those industries that are very, where there's a very high asymmetry of information between what you know and what the doctors know and what the insurers know. They're very different. And as a result, it's the end user who is consuming healthcare who has the least information. But technology is going to level this out by ensuring that by the time you're buying, if we're talking about insurance particularly, or health packages or products, you have been able to compare prices, you've been able to see what other people are talking about, and so forth. And this is key in driving the uptake, because as I said at the beginning, the key elements that have led to the challenges that we've seen in healthcare is the lack of trust between the stakeholders who are in there, between patients or users don't trust the insurance companies don't trust the hospitals, and the hospitals don't trust the insurance companies. So in summary, and I'll probably then pause to have a few questions come in. I do believe, and we believe, that this is the moment when we've seen the key trends in technology. Besides AI, we've seen, because of the data, we've seen also, particularly on the healthcare delivery side, the area of robotics, where now you no longer need to have people doing certain things, particularly precision surgery and so forth. And we see this will be a key trend that enables better decisions, particularly, and lower cost in terms of delivering of services. So I'll probably pause at this point and wait for any questions that come.
Thank you so much, Moses, for that. So this, as Moses has mentioned, I think he is available for questions. So if you have a question, kindly put it up in the chat, or you can raise your hand and you can ask it to him directly. The floor is open for questions. Feel free to engage with Moses. I see a hand from Faith. Faith, go ahead.
Hi. So my question is, what gaps is your product filling in? Like, what problems is, okay, fine, we all understand what technology does, but could you specify maybe like in a few points, what problem for the end user, being the person who is insured, that you are trying to solve? That were existing, that the current insurance platform or structure cannot solve?
Thanks, Faith, for that question. The main problem that we are trying to address, we, MTBA, we view, we're coming up with an ecosystem solution. The big problem that we're trying to address is the lack of trust between insurance companies, hospitals, and end users. And this lack of trust leads to lack of payments or delays in payment cycles, which then leads to cost of care going up and leads to people not getting insured. So what we have done is to create our platform, which digitally, which connects or integrates the interactions between insurance companies, hospitals, and members, so that for a hospital, you're sure that once you submit the electronic claims through our platform, you will be paid and paid on time, because then we are able to streamline your interactions and create the transparency that is needed. To the insurer, by creating this transparency, we are able to deal with fraud, as well as ensure that the flow of information comes very quickly. And to the end user, The immediate benefit is that you are empowered, you know, through your mobile phone, because we run MTBA on your phone, you can be able to tell what you are entitled to. You can be able to use it to identify yourself, and you don't need to carry cards for you to be able to access healthcare services. If you are unwell and you have forgotten your card at home, you can be able to authenticate and authorize with your phone. If you are far away and your children get unwell, you can be able to authorize treatment for them from where you are. And that is the let's say the immediate direct benefit. But the ultimate benefit is that by creating this trust between and transparency and the flow of seamless information between the three parties, we're able to drive efficiencies that reduce the overall cost of care. And by reducing the overall cost of care, we are then able to have insurers, and some of the insurers that we work with, including AAR, Jubilee, and others, and Britam, they are able to then develop products that are lower price and digital, that can actually be used to reach to the members and therefore be able to grow. So that ultimately, our ultimate ambition and goal is to ensure that everybody is able to have health coverage. And we believe that the only way to do that is to ensure that people have prepaid, or more people are actually having health insurance of some form, whether it's private or public, so that they are able to go to hospital whenever they need to do so. So I hope that answers your question. But we look at this from a ecosystem centric perspective.
Thank you so much for that response. Any other question that you'd like to pose to Moses? So as people contemplate questions, so what I would like to ask Moses is, in terms of insurance uptake, what drives the low uptake? Is it a policy issue, or is it sort of a cultural thing that people sort of feel that they'd rather do Harambes, or they'd rather rely on their social capital for any sort of emergency? So what do you think, what in your opinion does cause the low uptake in insurance products?
In my opinion, I think there are a number of issues that drive the low uptake. I think first and foremost is the lack of trust. People simply don't trust that when you're paying, when you get unwell, you will not be surprised by some items that are in the fine print. In terms of exclusions, you thought this was covered, but when you go there, you are told this is not covered, or this is only covered to a certain extent. And this is because of the complexity of how insurers have done their products. So that's the first and foremost, because if you look at there is a lot more people who can afford to spend, but they choose not to because of simply that lack of trust. The second key element is the cost and how the markets are designed today. If you talk about the private health market, the private health insurance, you need to pay the full amount upfront. It's a high amount. When you think about the products, you're talking about ranges of 20, 30,000 or even more. And that already becomes an immediate barrier for a lot of people who would want to have but cannot have. Even for the NHIF, where there is a monthly fee, which is 500 shillings per month per family, still that element of cost becomes a bit of a barrier. So those two things create the perfect, let's say, create an environment within which less and less people actually get insured. And in fact, the more people are actually excluded, because every year the premiums go up.
Thank you for that, but just a follow-up. So is it like the insurances are sort of content with what they're currently making, because they do make money? And I don't know, is it from medical or from general insurance? So it means they're sort of content with the sort of how much they make. Because in my thinking, if you lower the premiums and get a wider base to subscribe, then you'd have more, you'd make actually more money. It's a volume-based business. So you can, if you work on the volumes. So is it that insurances are content with what they're making, or what's up?
Yeah, so I can tell you for a fact, because we talk to them and we see this, and even we hear from the regulators, they are actually not content at all. In fact, they are bleeding from the medical business, and they are looking at how do we grow this and grow it profitably. And therein lies the biggest issue. The issue is how do they grow this business profitably, handle the issues of cost, handle the issues of fraud, and deal with the misalignment of interest. And that is where digital technology and digital platforms like MTIBA come into play, where we say, look, we can create by riding on our platform, we are able to create this ecosystem of trust where, because we have digitized all the interactions and the flow of information, you can tell the claim whether it's valid from the point of service all the way to the point of when it lands to you for adjudication and payment, because you don't need people to be looking at it to have paperwork and so forth. And the hospitals know that through submission of using digital technology, then the information is good, and therefore they will be paid in time. They will be paid based on the business rules that they have agreed. And therefore, this means that hospitals get paid much faster, and therefore they have liquidity, and therefore they don't need to go to, let's say, they don't need to increase their cost of capital. And this is where, and it's a fine, that's where you have to look at it from an ecosystem perspective, because by increasing transparency and dealing with fraud, by driving the efficiency, you reduce the level of claims as well as the expenses of administering, and therefore you make the unit economics work for the insurance product. And then by leveraging on mobile technology, you're able to reach a much wider user base than the traditional channels of distribution that insurers have used. So it's only that the insurance industry, as well as the healthcare industry, has been left behind, or at least has lagged behind when it comes to technology adoption. But think about in this country, maybe something like 10, 15 years ago, when banks saw the opportunity that M-Pesa and mobile money brought in terms of growing their own business and in terms of ensuring that they are able to do it in an efficient way, and they rode that way. This is also the opportunity that MTIBA also presents to insurance companies, as well as any payers who are in this healthcare space, and the hospitals as well.
Thank you for that. I see here on the chat, Fred Angwenyi asks, how broad is your benefit package? I don't know, just respond to that.
Thanks for that question. So MTIBA is a health technology partner. So we work with the insurance companies who offer the various packages. So as I've said, we work with AR Insurance, we work with Jubilee, we work with Britam, we're also doing some work with the NHIF, and we continue to work with others. But broadly, the products that are running on our platform range from what you would consider to be from the high end for the one that's paid by, let's say, employers, coming into the middle, where, for instance, some of the products are in the range of, for I think 15,000 shillings, you can get a coverage of maybe I think close to 70,000 or 75,000. And then we even have products for the low end of the market, where for 3,600 you can get an inpatient cover of 200,000. This is not offered by MTIBA, it's offered by the insurance companies that are riding on the MTIBA platform. So the platform powers or enables this ecosystem.
Thank you for that. Then there is a question. Yeah, so here Biama asks, how is the insurance uptake? Has there been a surge at this COVID period?
I think what we've seen is that definitely, and we did, we've done some research and some surveys. for sure, health is now top of mind of most Kenyans. And people have seen that since anything can happen, it's good to be proactive and protect yourself and your family. What we have seen, however, is despite the awareness and the demand, that has not translated into growth of insurance products. And as I've said, again, it's a factor of cost. It's a factor of convenience that you're not able to get your product when you need it. And it's also a factor of trust. I do expect that in the coming days, as technology continues to drive forward, as more mobile fast digital health insurance products continue to roll out, I expect this to change. I see a question of what percentage of payments are made via MTBA at the hospitals. Typically on the platform, we do about, now this year, we'll probably do about 3.5 billion shillings in terms of transactions that are taking place on the platform per annum. And this is a combination of payments from insurers to hospitals, payments through individuals paying directly through the wallet and so forth. Then I see, does MTBA approach hospitals to include them as a biller? Yes, we do have over 3,000 healthcare providers across the country, and we continue to grow that panel. And this ranges from the big hospitals, such as the Nairobi Hospital, Aga Khan, and others, all the way down to the small clinics and dispensaries. And this also includes some of the public and faith-based facilities. We also have a couple of digital health providers, such as telemedicine and e-prescription type of players also on our platform. How are we regulated? So CarePay is, for some of the work that we do with the insurance companies, we are regulated with the IRA. We have a couple of licenses with them for the work that we do. And as a technology company, so we do various elements. So the work that we do with private insurance companies, whether it's distribution, whether it's administration and handling payments, that's regulated with IRA. Then the bits of offering technology to healthcare providers, that bit is not regulated.
Oh, yes, Slippers, did you find them? Did you find them?
Sorry for that. Okay. Thank you so much, Moses, for that. I hope I've not locked out anyone with a question. So at this point, I would like to invite Rotarian David Biama to give the speaker a vote of thanks. Biama.
Oh, thank you so much, President Wilson. I would say, Moses Kuria, that was such a brilliant talk. And you could notice that with the kind of questions, I really got intrigued into it, because I usually walk into hospitals and I see the MTBA sign there, but I've never actually tried to use it. But I've seen with how the product placement is and the advertising that it's ongoing. I just didn't know that CarePay was behind it, which is quite fascinating. And with the numbers you've just mentioned, that is quite an uptick. And this, what you're talking about, I believe, is just Kenya only. And that's fantastic.
Yes, we are. This is Kenya only. CarePay is in. We are also in Nigeria and in Tanzania as well.
Fantastic. So we as Rotary Madaraka, we are so thankful for you sparing your time to be with us and giving us such an educative talk and just opening up our minds. And we definitely love to see you more. We always here on Mondays. And thank you so much for gracing us with that talk. Thank you, Moses.
Thank you, David. I appreciate. It's been a lovely talk, discussion, very lively. And definitely, for sure, you will see me again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moses and David. Moses, feel free to stick around. The meeting is yet to come to a close. And I would love to invite our Sergeant at Arms for today, Stalin Moses. Stalin, please take it away.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Stalin Moses, and I'm your Sergeant at Arms today. So our first agenda is a joke. And since we are talking tech, I will try to pick my joke from tech. And I'll just tell you about what's happening in the tech industry, especially with AI. One program that is out there that is being evaluated by many companies is OpenAI, which has a product called GPT-3. So basically, it's a transformer that tries to speak human. Different people are testing it out, and there was this doctor that was asking it questions, and he asked it what it will do if someone died and the doctor was walking and someone died in front of the doctor. What should the doctor do? GPT-3 answered that the doctor should tell that dead person to move so that he can pass. That's the joke. Okay, so next agenda is fines. Today, most of you have been very disciplined, so I doubt that there'll be any fines in terms of latecomers. But as Muto said, I would propose that each one of us donates a happy dollar. I mean, a dollar for the cause, and then we can move now to the last segment, which is happy and sad dollars. For those of you who do not know what this is about, a happy dollar is basically you buy airtime for $1, which is 100 shillings, to tell us about the good things that you've experienced to date or today. Or for the sad dollar is the opposite. So you tell us what you're sad about. It will help you if you share it. So just raise your hand and I will pick who is to, I will pick you to speak. Anyone? Okay, I see Pesh. Pesh, please go ahead.
Thank you. I have 5 happy dollars. 2 of my happy dollars goes to today's speaker. Then 3 of my happy dollars are for my daughter who was celebrating her 5th birthday yesterday. I don't take it for granted. Thank you.
Thank you, Pesh. I also see Njoki Maingi. Please go ahead.
Hi. My happy dollar, may I have 2 happy dollars? One is for the guest speaker. That was quite educative. And the second happy dollar is to the project that we are fundraising for. Kindly give and give cheerfully. So thank you.
Thank you. Ndirangu, please go ahead.
Thank you, Moses. One happy dollar for the guest speaker. It was quite informative talk. Thank you.
Okay, David Biama. Sorry, David. Faith, I think Faith first, and then David.
$5 happy. This has been a great talk, Moses. Thank you for enlightening and opening our minds. Also, I don't know, like, I don't understand what, like, when you're contributing to the project, is it happy dollars or is it a different thing? Or do the happy dollars go to the projects? I don't understand. Maybe someone can clear that up for me.
Oh, okay. So for today, all the happy dollars will be going to the project, but usually they are they go to the kitty and then they are split. If I'm not wrong, Wilson.
Yeah, so just to, Faith, the proposal is that to have whatever we collect today during SAA to go towards the project. So whatever you contribute to go a long way in terms of getting us to the project goal. So contribute cheerfully and as much as you can.
Faith, is that good?
Yes, cheerfully.
Yeah. All right. David Biama, please.
Thank you, Stalin. Now, for me, I have actually $3 happy. One actually goes to Moses for its wonderful talk. I already said this, but that was amazing. Then the other one is just goes to Monday. Monday has always been the best day of the week. The third one, I would say this is actually my birthday month, and also happens to be my dad's birthday month and also my son's birthday month. So I'm happy for that. Thank you.
You are welcome. The next one is Fred Angwenyi. Please go ahead.
Hello. So $4 happy for the talk and towards the project. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll give my $3 happy. One is for the speaker, Mr. Moses. Thank you very much for your lovely presentation. And then my second one will go to Biama. Happy birthday to you and to your son. Back to you, Chairman.
Thank you so much, Stalin, for that. It's always a pleasure. You have the most complex jokes, as in I have to say. But I have at least $3 happy. I think number one is to get the guest speaker, Moses. Moses and I go a long way back. We met while in campus. So thank you so much, Moses, for joining us today. It's always been a pleasure to host guests on Madaraka. Other happy dollars goes towards being a Monday. And finally, let me add on $1/3. I think this COVID is becoming sort of rampant. So I love that all of us could be safe. So protect yourselves. Just make sure you're not in a position that you could contract it. But yeah, so keep safe. So thank you so much for that session, Stalin again. I'll now move to the final toast. So in this toast, I would like to, if you have a glass, charge it. If you don't, hand over heart. And in conjunction with the Rotary Club of Kampala Metropolitan, the Rotary Club of Nairobi, the Rotary Club of UN Afia, and the Rotary Club of Nairobi Madaraka, I give you Rotary and the world over.
Rotary and the world over.
So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for this meeting. It's always been a pleasure to host all of you. I will now like to formally close the meeting. So as I said, my final toast, please keep safe and let's beat this thing together. Thank you so much for joining. And I want to wish you all a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.